Coimbatore is admiringly referred to as the Manchester of South India. The Gandhipuram Sarvodaya Sangh, operating under the central government's Khadi and Village Industries Commission, has been functioning here for more than 45 years to help generate employment opportunities for villagers living in and around this locality. The Sangh generates silk thread by spinning silk, produces modern wedding silk saris, silk dhotis and silk stoles through handloom. It also has a sales outlet for selling them to the public with discounts provided by the state government.
ஸோ அந்த காந்திபுரம் சர்வோதய சங்கம் வந்து 1977 இந்த வடவழியில் ஆரம்பிக்கணும்னு சொல்லி முடிவு பண்ணி ஆரம்பித்தோம். அப்போ வந்து இங்கே கிராமப்புறமாக இருக்கிறதுனால வேலை வாய்ப்பு கொடுக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி இங்கே வேலைக்கு ஆட்கள் கிடைக்கிறாங்கன்னு சொல்லிவிட்டு நாங்கள் என்ன பண்ணோம்னா ஃபஸ்ட்டு ஒரு ரீலிங் ஒரு 6 பேசின் போட்டோம். 6 பேசின் போட்டுட்டு இங்கே இருக்கிறவங்களுக்கு வேலை வாய்ப்பு கொடுத்தோம்.
Most of the farmers living in the villages around Coimbatore are actively involved in the cultivation of mulberry and sericulture. The life cycle of silkworms consists of 4 stages, namely egg, larva, pupa and moth. The young larvae feed continuously only on mulberry leaves and fatten up. After a few days, they become mature larvae and stop eating altogether. Thereafter, they move their head back and forth to secrete a fiber with which they weave a nest around their body. The saliva of the mature larva contains a protein known as fibroin and a glue-like substance called sericin, enabling the silkworm to produce a continuous thread-like fiber which is used to build white cocoons. Farmers who are actively engaged in sericulture are ready with cocoons within 27 to 32 days from the time they start hatching silk moth eggs. These cocoons dry up and harden as they are exposed to air. Thereafter, the farmers carefully gather the cocoons and take them to government-run cocoon markets where they are auctioned. When such cocoons are sold in the marketplace, good quality cocoons are identified and procured by the employees of the Gandhipuram Sarvodaya Sangh and transported to the Sangh's silk weaving center in Vadavalli. The cocoons thus purchased are kept in huge plates or trays and heated to 100 degrees centigrade to kill the pupa inside these cocoons. Thereafter, twin and damaged cocoons are segregated and removed. The dewormed cocoons are then stored in the spinning mill for yarn production. First stage in spinning of silk. Cooking. The cocoons stored for production of yarn are boiled in hot water to dissolve the glue-like substance called sericin. The second stage, reeling. In the second stage, the loosened up filaments from the cocoon are spun into yarn using hand-wound reeling machines. A sample of the yarn is then weighed and its denier calculated, after which the strands are grouped and wound as silk threads. Third stage, winding. In this stage, the yarn thus spun is wound onto bobbins and then mounted on rollers of a winding machine, which converts them into long continuous thread series. Fourth stage, rewinding. In the fourth stage, known as rewinding, the long continuous thread obtained through winding process is again wound onto bobbins using the reels of a rewinding machine. These threads are wound onto bobbins, either as double strands using doubling method or as 3 strands by employing tripling method. After this, they are sent to the twisting machine. Fifth stage, twisting. In the twisting stage, the silk yarn is twisted in 2 distinct ways, one style for warping and the other style for wefting. the sixth stage, warping and wefting. The silk thread that has been twisted, 2 strands and wound onto bobbins, is then mounted on a large cylinder so that it can be warped in a 6,000 thread length handloom to match the length of the sari to be woven. Similarly, the yarn that has been twisted using 3 strands is wound in small bobbins and mounted onto reels to be converted into a weft. The next stage, dyeing. After the silk thread is subjected to the warp and weft processes, it is then transferred to the dyeing section. Here, dyes of different colors are mixed with boiling water and the threads are dyed one color at a time. The silk yarn, thus dyed for several hours, is finally rinsed thrice in clean water. Thereafter, the yarn is then allowed to dry in shade by hanging them over long poles to ensure that the yarn fibers are not damaged. Once the yarn fibers are allowed to dry for 2 days, the colors are fastened onto it permanently. After this, they are collected carefully and dispatched for weaving. Thus, starting from the humble cocoon, the silk fiber is subjected to numerous processes before they become fine silk yarns to be woven as saris or dhotis by weavers. Weaving. Weavers then stretch the dried silk yarns that have been warped and mount them onto large cylinders in a lengthwise manner. Similarly, the yarns which were twisted as 3 strands by winding them around small bobbins and then mounted on reels are processed. After this, the threads for warping are placed vertically while the yarns subjected to weft process are placed horizontally. Once the weavers start weaving, they complete a sari in 2 days, while a dhoti can be woven in a day. Quality checks. Once a weaver completes weaving a sari or dhoti, it is taken to the Sarvodaya Sangh office for inspection and quality checks. The officers of the Sangh unfold the sari or dhoti and check every inch to see if there are any twists in the yarn. If they spot any mistakes, they correct it and then send it to the sales division.
நான் காந்திபுரம் சர்வ சங்கத்தில் 40 வருஷமாக பணியாற்றிட்டு இருக்கேன். எங்ககிட்ட மெயினாக பட்டு உற்பத்தி தான் அதிகமாக இங்கே நடக்குது. எங்ககிட்ட பட்டு கூடு நாங்களே வாங்கி ரீலிங், ட்விஸ்டிங், வீவிங் எல்லாமே இங்கேயே நடக்குது. நிறைய பேர் இங்கே வந்து காலேஜிலேருந்து ஸ்டூடெண்ட்லாம் வந்து வெளியூரில் தான் வந்து இங்கே பார்த்துட்டு போகிறாங்க. எங்கள் வீவிங்கெல்லாம் எப்படி இருக்குன்னு பார்த்து நிறைய வாங்குறாங்க.
Sales, marketing. In the sales division of the Sarvodaya Sangh, the senior officers of the Sangh assess the quality of the sari or dhoti, fix a reasonable price at which the general public can easily purchase it, and affix the price tag onto the garment. Silk saris for women and silk dhotis and stoles for men made by the Gandhipuram Sarvodaya Sangh's spinning and handloom mills are attractively displayed for sales at discounted rates decided by the government in the huge Khadi Gramodyog showroom situated in Vadavalli, Coimbatore, and other branch offices of the Sangh.
எங்களுக்கு வந்து வடவள்ளியில் ஒரு 3000 சதுரடியில் வந்து ஒரு பெரிய ஷோரூம் ஒன்று ஆரம்பித்து மத்திய அரசு மாநில அரசு சப்போர்ட்டில் ஆரம்பித்து இன்றைக்கி வந்து அது வந்து மிகப்பெரிய ஒரு நல்ல வடவள்ளியில் வந்து பிரபலியமான ஒரு சர்வதேச சங்கமாக இருந்துகிட்ருக்குது. காதி இந்தியாங்கிற பேரில் யாரை கேட்டாலும் வடவள்ளி தெரிகிற அளவுக்கு இருக்கிறது.
The sales representatives of the Sarvodaya Sangh explain the uniqueness and specialties of the silk saris and dhotis to the visiting customers with a pleasing demeanor and close the sale by ensuring that the customers are happy with their purchase. As the customers are satisfied with the service and quality of the products sold, they repeatedly visit the Sarvodaya Sangh's Khadi Gramodyog Bhavan to buy hand-woven silk garments.
30 வருஷமாக இந்த பட்டு விற்பனை பிரிவில் வேலை செஞ்சிட்ருக்கேன். காந்திபுரம் சர்வதேச சங்கத்தில் இப்போ நம்ம இந்த பட்டு பற்றி கைத்தறியை பற்றியெல்லாம் நம்ம விளக்கமாக சொல்லும்போது இந்த அளவுக்கு இருக்கா அப்படின்னு ரொம்ப தரமாக இருக்குது, நாங்கள் இந்த மாதிரி தரம் பார்த்ததே இல்லை, ரொம்ப அருமையாக கையில் நெசவு பண்ணியிருக்காங்க அப்படின்னு ரொம்ப விரும்பி வாங்காமல் சும்மா பார்க்க வந்தவங்க கூட வாங்கிட்டு போகிற அளவுக்கு நிறைய வாடிக்கையாளர்கள் வந்திருக்காங்க.
Also, school and college students from various parts of the state and district visit Gandhipuram Sarvodaya Sangh's Silk Weaving Center to acquire practical knowledge about production of silk threads and weaving of silk using handlooms. Through these social outreach initiatives, the Sangh ensures that the future generations learn the basic facts about silk, the methods employed in spinning, handloom weaving processes, and the importance and contribution of silk and handloom weaves to our economy and livelihood. Thus, the Coimbatore Gandhipuram Sarvodaya Sangh continues its service and journey, enriching the lives of all those who are associated with it. To cherish our traditions that transcend generations, adorn yourself with Gandhipuram Sarvodaya Sangh silk, clothes and garments. Coimbatore, silks that last a lifetime.